Alright, so in this video, what I'm going to do is show you how you could build that same kind of bot within the Collect.chat's web application. So here I am on the Collect.chat website, and I have selected the specific bot that you just saw on my site. And notice that there are three main tabs that you can use as you're building your bot. The first is the preview tab, just kind of the settings for the bot, and then the script, and then the publish. Now in the preview, you can see that you can set the position, and then you can just choose a welcome message which is shown when the bot is appears on the screen. And then you have this avatar, and I have actually used my photo as the image for this bot. And then you can select a color theme, and you can also have the Collect.chat branding show up if you want, or if off or not. So these are options that you have, just the settings. And then you can also see that you can either embed it as a widget or a landing page, or you can just put it as an iframe into your site. Now the other tab, the publish tab, is what gives you the code, the JavaScript code that you can use to, you'll have to take that snippet of code and put it into your HTML code somewhere so that it actually shows up on your site. And you can see that they have all these options for different kinds of websites. Now the one we are really interested in is this script tab, because this is the place where you have this chatbot builder. And notice that you have all these different kinds of message blocks that you can just drag and drop them into this canvas here, and this is going to be your conversation. Like you can say that this is how you design the conversation, and you just drag and drop these different type of controls into this canvas here, and then it will go in that specific sequence. And you can also add like conditional jumps and things like that, and that's how you construct the conversation. So just taking a look at the different types of messages we have, there is this just a single message. This is a message where you just like show some text to the user, but you don't expect a response back. And if you remember from my bot, there are some situations where the user couldn't actually type anything into the bot, and that's because only some of these are like require some input from the user. For example, the message block is just going to show some information, so there's no need to collect any information, which means that there's also no need to prompt the user by showing them a text box, which is, I'll say that that's a really good user interface and user experience, because we avoid confusing the user by asking them to, like, sometimes you will have a bot where it's just giving them some information at the end of the conversation, and the user still types something, and the bot is not really designed to handle that. So you can avoid those kind of scenarios in a conditional logic bot like the Collect.chat bot. And then you also have a text question which does expect a response from the user. And then you have an email type which collects the email address. It's different from the regular text question because it will do some validation, and similarly with date and things like that. And you can see that there's quite a few. You even remember that I had a rating which are shown at the end of the conversation, and that's the one which has this, how was your experience with the chat widget, and you can see that this is called a rating type. So this is the same as this one. And the other thing that I just want to show you is that when it is asking for buttons like to be clicked so that the user makes a choice, an example of that is this, what is your question about? You can see that this is the multi-choice message type. And also notice that whatever you type here as the options is what is going to show up on the button as the text, and then before that you'll have to actually ask the question. And then you notice that when you hover on this message block, you actually see this thing which looks like these two arrows, and you click on that. It is the logical jump feature, where it allows you to jump to a specific point in the conversation based on whichever button the user clicked on. And you can see that if they select the general button, it's going to ask this question, what channel are you using to build your chatbot? On the other hand, if they were to select this article, it's going to ask this, it's going to jump to this other question which says, what is your question about the article? So it's kind of indicating that it understood the user's input, not in the sense it's understanding in terms of the NLU that we usually have, but here in the case it's actually based on the condition, it's going to different points in the conversation. So this is how you use the builder inside the Collect.chat to actually design the conversation in your bot. And as I mentioned before, I've noticed that using a rules based or a conditional logic bot is it generally gets more engagement from your user, and one of the big reasons is because since it's such a carefully designed script, it's very unusual that the user can type something in which your bot is not able to actually handle, and that just gives like a little more confidence for the user in how your bot works. Of course, it's not really an AI powered or an NLU powered bot, so it's not going to be as intelligent as an NLU bot, but still having a bot like this is going to be very what I'll say is that it's a good first step towards building an actual NLU bot. And I have actually written about this on my site, where I mentioned that a good way to get the sample training data is to just put this non-NLU bot, the pre-NLU bot, into your site, this conditional logic based bot, and you will find that you can collect quite a few questions and responses.